see. Hello, hello, and Happy New Year, everybody. I hope that you are doing well in 2022. Welcome back to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Wednesday Live. We're back. We're ready to do this thing. I'm going to wait for some more people to pop on. Let me know in the chat section how you're doing. What's going on today on this Wednesday. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And let me know how your holiday was. I think we've just been in holiday mode for what, 3 or so months, between everything that's celebrated between the beginning of fall and even going into January. So much. And so let me know, how are you doing? Hey, Gina said I made it. Hey, Suze, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy New Year, everybody. So glad you guys are here. There is a lot coming down the pike here at Victoria Marie Designs, a lot of things that I cannot wait to share with you guys this year, including, of course, continued creative inspiration and lots of projects and all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you're tuned in and dialed into all of that. We're going to hang out for just a minute or so. I started just a tiny bit early, so we'll hang out for just a few. Hey, Mary and Kathy and Deb and Debbie and Melissa. Hello, Lisa. Happy New Year. Let me know how your holiday went, how your new year is going. Of course, we're only, 5 days into the new year. It is going by pretty fast already. We're already 5 days into it. And I will say that for me, the holiday season didn't feel all that festive this year. Christmas is my favorite holiday. And I don't know, it just seems like something was missing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the state of the world or just stress or what it may be, or just the thinking about all the upcoming things that I'll be working on, both from a personal and business standpoint, but it just didn't seem as magical this year. And I thought I was the only one, and I was talking to some other people about this, and they're like, they felt the same way too. So try to make it as magical as possible every year, but it didn't really seem festive. I don't know, but hopefully this year will shine bright. Lots of opportunities. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So glad that you are here. Sarah, I'm glad you get to catch me today too. Wendy says, made it to the staff meeting. That's right. If you are new to the community, we call Wednesday Live our staff meeting. This is a staff meeting in the Victoria Marie community. So grab your reports and your spreadsheets and stuff, right? If you are able to create with me today, grab some supplies. Let's have some fun. I know some of you are literally at work viewing this, so don't worry, we won't write you out. Glad that you made it. Sarah says, I get to catch you today. School schedule starts again tomorrow. Yep, we're all back and doing it. Back to work, back to school, back to whatever we're doing. Unless, of course, you're retired. Then you're just back to wherever you're doing, right? Deb says, yeah, I didn't feel it this year either. Yeah, didn't even put up any decorations. Oh, wow. We did put up decorations this year, but I do know several people who did not. They did not feel like putting it all up. Sarah says, my mom said, feeling that way this year too. Yeah, I know, absolutely. Mary, I hope that you're feeling better. So glad that you're feeling better. Sue says, I know what you mean. COVID kind of messed it up. Yeah, absolutely. Sarah says she got the TPS report today. There you go. Make sure you get your TPS reports for the staff meeting today. Oh, hello, Gloria. How are you, my friend? So glad you're here. So we're going to go ahead and dig into it. I got 2 o'clock straight up and down. Let me know how your holiday was. For those of you who are joining us new, hello and welcome to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. I'm Victoria Calvin, owner of Victoria Marie Designs. And we come on here pretty much live every week, almost-ish, on Wednesdays. And I create a project and we chat and hang out and have fun. This is a great way for us to connect and engage as a community. I've got lots of fun things coming down the pipe for 2022. I've been sharing on my social media, particularly on Instagram, that my one little word this year is make. And so I'll be making a lot of creative things. I've kind of gone several directions with that word this year, but I discovered that in 2021, I wasn't making as much, particularly just for personal enjoyment. Working in this industry professionally, a lot of my time is spent on the business aspects of my business, and I just was not creating as much. And so I decided this year, I'm going to be creating. And not only am I going to be creating more and making more, I'm also focusing on using my stash a whole lot more in 2022. So speaking of that, I will be showing or posting a lot of content on here with projects using materials from my stash. I know that stuff that is something that you guys are interested in. I know that we talk about it a lot in the community. We comment about it, getting inspiration for using the things we already have. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know I love to enable. So that's not to say go on a spending freeze. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm going to be focusing a lot on using my stash this year. All of the Victoria Marie online virtual crops for 2022 will be focused on using our stash. All the challenges for those crops are all going to be stash based. And so, yeah, so that, and then also some other just creative adventures this year. So let's make all the things. Before we get started, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then if you do subscribe, which I hope you will, click the bell. That way you'll be notified every time that I post content here. Also, make sure you give this live a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you've enjoyed today's live and enjoy the content here on this channel. Hello, everybody who's just joined us. So glad that you are here. Couple of quick reminders. So I did mention that I host online crops. This will be the third year that I'm posting online crops. I'm losing track. This year it's Rock Your Stash. And so we're going to be rocking our stash all year long. They are monthly crops. There's 10 crops this year. I currently am offering a bundle where you can get access to all 10 crops for $79.99 USD. That bundle offer ends on January 8th this week. I posted a link down below in the description. You can go learn all about it, grab the bundle. Now you may be asking, Victoria, I'm not sure if I can commit to the bundle. Can I get the individual crops? You absolutely can. The individual crops, starting with this month's crop, which is going to be January 21st, I will be posting the individual crop link for January on January 9th. And the individual crops are $9.99. Now here's the thing about my crops. We have a lot of fun. Lots of fun challenges, prizes and giveaways, live Zoom scrap and chats, which are great. I'm also adding in a mini class or mini workshop component to each of the crops. You have 3 weeks to play along with the challenges. So if you can't join us the weekend of the crop, don't worry. All of the Zoom scrap and chats are recorded. The workshop little mini sessions recorded because it's a part of one of the scrap and chat sessions. And you have 3 weeks to play with the challenges. The challenges are super flexible. You get a description of the challenges when you register for the crop, so you can get ahead, prepare for it in advance if you want to, or not. Some people just show up and be like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing the thing. Not everyone does the challenges. Some people just come to hang out with the live Zoom scrap and chat. So if you love going to crops, but you're not able to get out, or maybe your normal crop group isn't meeting right now, come join us. It's 100% online, hosted in a private Facebook group for right now. That's where I'm hosting them. And it's a lot of fun. And you get to meet other scrapbookers. And it's only $9.99 for the individual crops. But if you buy the bundle, you get to lock in the 2021 rate of $7.99 per crop. But you pay one fee of $79.99 to get access to all 10. So make sure you go check all that out. Link is down below. So check it out. Come join us. We have a ton of fun. And we're just going to be using up a lot of our stash. So if you're ready to use your stash and you want people to hold you accountable to that, come join us for the crops. It's going to be great. The second reminder, those of you who are interested in the Project Done, a year-long scrapbooking journey online class. This is the second year that I'm hosting this class. If you are needing to get your scrapbook projects done, like you feel like you're behind, there's some projects you need to get to, there are some challenges that you have that are preventing you from sort of getting over that creative hump, come join us for Project Done. We spend an entire year where we focus on a selected number of projects, which you would select, and hyper focus on those projects to get them done. And along the way, every month we have a new theme that we focus on. So January, we're talking about setting intentions and realistic goals related to getting your scrapbook projects done. We also talk about time management, project management, letting go of projects. So every month is a different theme. You get all your online class content. There is a private group within the classroom, so you don't have to go to a separate Facebook group to interface with the class members. We have co-working sessions. We have a live instructional Zoom check-in in the middle of the month, and you have recorded video content as well. It's all online. It's a fantastic class. We had so many people who took this class last year and were really, really productive in getting their scrapbook projects done. So if you're interested in that, the link is posted down below. The class is $79.99. It's available. You can register for it at any time. We just started class on June 4th. You haven't missed anything. So please come join us. If you want to get your projects done, you need some guidance and support, let me help you out this year. So the link is posted down below. You can register today. You can register tomorrow. You can register in May. But you can come join us if you need some help with that. Okay? That's it for announcements. Let's get into the projects. Hello, everyone who just joined us. I know a lot of you are looking forward to the crops. Some of you on here have done Project Done or have just signed up for Project Done. So I look forward to working with you this year for that class. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's just make 2022 the year we get stuff done. We're using our stash. We're making projects. We're sharing them. We're connecting. We're engaging. This is the year. Let's get in. Let's get into it. So first live of the year, let me switch my screen real quick so you can see what I'm working with today. I am doing my annual New Year layout. Now, if you've been with me for a while, then you know that every year at this time of the year, for the most part, I do a scrapbook page that's based on what it is that kind of what my hope is for the beginning of the year, or for the new year. And so that's what I'm going to be working on today. So my screen switch, there we go. So I normally will take a selfie. This is a selfie I actually took last year. I didn't take a new selfie for this year, but you kind of get the point. And I normally take a selfie of me probably always drinking coffee for the most part. But I talk about kind of my hopes for the year. It kind of jumps off a year of me focusing on the things I want to focus on, and just to kind of give me some good mojo as I'm going into the year. I strongly believe in scrapbooking about myself, my interests, my hopes, my dreams, my goals, and I will always encourage you to do the same. So I have this photo. I did a black and white filter on it. And this is me in my new Starbucks muggy, because you guys all know I love my coffee mugs and whatnot. And I'm going to go ahead and set up this background. So I am using everything that I'm using for this particular project is from my stash. So I just reached into where I keep my stash items at, pulled out some pattern papers, pulled out some other things, wanted, looking for colors to coordinate. I love using black and white photos because that leaves it open for me to use any type of color palette, which is fantastic. So let me show you what I pulled out of my stash. So I have two pattern papers, and I want to say, I can't remember what collections these are from, because they've just been sitting around my stash and I cut off the branding strip. By the way, I did put a list of products in the description. There's no links because some of these things are just not available anymore. So when I do videos like this, whether they're recorded or live, if I'm able to link to product, I will. But some product that I'm focusing on using this year is just not available anymore. So if you are inspired to make a layout like this and you like the product, then what I recommend is that you reach in your stash to see what you have that's comparable to what I'm using, okay? I had some scrap pieces of paper that I just cut up from random other projects. And so I took what was available and I cut these out in kind of a wonky triangle. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these little scrap bits here in just a second. I'm going to create a background. Then I have this background here. This is the B side with the X's, and it kind of has an off-white color. And then on this side was the rainbow. I almost thought about using this and doing something fun with it, but when I flipped it over and I paired it with the gray, I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm going with this. So that's the start of that. I'm going to be doing some stamping in this layout. In fact, this Bow Bunny stamp is like the MVP of stamps in my stash. This is called the Stitches stamp from Bow Bunny, and it may still be available on scrapbook.com and maybe some other places. But it has all these stitched stamps, so if you're like me and you like stitching on a layout, but you're too lazy to get your sewing machine out or you're too lazy to hand stitch, then grab yourself a stamp that has stitching, right? Stitched stamps, and then you can stamp your stitching on there. So, fake it till you make it. Alrighty, I'm also going to do a little bit of die cutting because, believe it or not, out of all of the thickers and other letter stickers that I have in my stash, I couldn't find the perfect one that I wanted to add to my title. So I'm going to use this metal die from Momenta, and it's just numbers, including an ampersand and a pound sign. So you're going to see me use that. So we're going to do some die cutting today and some stamping. I also pulled some old die cuts. This is a Maggie Holmes collection. This is called Flourish. And this came out, usually I put the yarn here, this came out in 2017, so not too long ago. So a bunch of fun little die cuts that I'll be using out of this collection. I also pulled out this really old sticker sheet. This is called Neat Things by Hello Forever. This was from Studio Calico. I'm not quite sure when this was made, but it's been a long time. I don't know. Let me know if you remember this. But what I want to do is use this sticker down here on my layout. Okay. Then I pulled a thickers pack. This is for one of Vicki Boutin's collections, but I can't remember which one it is. It may have been Color Study or something else. I can't remember. It's called Hello Friend. This is from Thickers. It's a silver holographic chipboard sticker sheet. And I'm going to be using some letters from this that spell out hello. It has a whole bunch of really fun things on here. I also pulled out, let me know if you guys remember this. This is from Jelly Bean Soup, which I loved all things Jelly Bean Soup, by the way. This is coordinating label stickers. I might pop one or two of these label stickers on my layout. I'm not quite sure yet. But this is from 2015. So reached in my stash and grabbed that. These are the functional things that I like to still have hanging around my studio. I had about 5 sheets of this, and I think I'm down to the last 1 or 2. So I've been using those up over the past few years. Also, this one's relatively new. This is from the Hello Today collection from Simple Stories. This came out last year, I believe, early last year. Has a lot of work-related, like everyday task-related type stuff. So I'm going to use a couple little chipboard pieces from that. So notice I've got all kinds of manufacturers going on here. Jelly Bean Soup, Simple Stories, Thickers, the whole 9. So that's the fun thing about pulling from your stash, right? Then lastly, I have some wood veneer pieces. This is from the Hip Kit Club from the Dream Big collection. It's designed by Kim and Kimberly. And I think that I'm going to add just a couple of these wood pieces onto my layout. Look how nice big of a sheet that wood veneer pieces are. And it already has adhesive on it, so that's fantastic. I'm also going to bring in a little bit of shine and sparkle. I'm going to be using some holographic or some metallic paper. This is probably from Die Cuts with a View. And then I'm also going to show you how you can make your own letters using this holographic paper and foam. I got these foam sheets from Spellbinders. So I'm going to be using some black foam with my dies. I'm going to show you how to do that. Some of you are probably familiar with that technique. So I'm excited to show you, if you're not, how you can make your own foam letters. So yeah, this is what I got. A whole bunch of stuff out of my stash. And usually when I'm coordinating a layout, what I'll do is I'll start with the pattern paper first, and then I'll build other elements around it. And because I'm using mainly neutral colors for the background, that leaves it open for me to pick other colors and elements to coordinate with it. And my photo's black and white, so I can use any type of color combination. And so I went through and just picked out things like, I started with a sticker sheet, has some blue, some oranges and yellows, and then just kind of went through and coordinated other elements that had a similar color story. It doesn't have to match perfectly. I just want it to coordinate to create a really, really nice page. Okay, so those are the things that I'm using from my stash. I hope that you are inspired to use things from your stash this year as you're making your layouts. Get those products used up, my friends, right? Let's not hoard it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set some things out the way real quick. Let me know in the comments section, how often do you use your scrapbook stash? How often do you use your stash? Okay, so let me put this to the side and let's go ahead and set this up. How often are you using your scrappy stash? Do you reach for it every time that you scrapbook? Do you make kits out of your stash? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to start with this 12 by 12 base. These pieces of paper were just cut because there were just some wonky pieces left. So I think the way I had this, I'm trying to remember now, the way I had it cut, I think this little triangular piece will go here, and I just cut it into wonky triangles because I wanted to create sort of a focal point element, right? This is a great way to sort of create your own backgrounds. And I just cut where it made sense with the remaining pieces of paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my photo probably right here. I think that's how I had that set up. And then do some embellishing around that. My title's going to go up here. In fact, I might have it moved up just a little bit more now that I think about it. I can't remember. And then my journaling will go down here. So we'll figure it out here in just a second. But what I wanted was my eye to go right here on the photo. And then the title and everything else is just going to be center. Alrighty. Mary says, I heard you can use metal dies even if you don't have a machine. I'm actually not quite sure. Maybe somebody has figured that out. I would probably do a YouTube search to see if someone has a video about that and see if you can use a metal die without a machine. Or if someone wants to answer that question. I've never used a metal die without a machine. Maybe there is a way to do that. So I'd check that out. Currently making page kits. Yes. Amy says all the time. Lots of folks saying yes, they do use their stash. Absolutely. Deb says, use my stash every time because I'm on a spending freeze for January. And I think there's a lot of folks that are going to be on spending freezes this year. Okay, so I'm thinking I might switch it. Maybe do that. I'm trying to remember how I had this now. Okay. Before I commit to that background, I'm pretty sure I had it like this. Okay, so I'm going to bring over some elements here. My little trays. Love my trays. And, of course, we're going to pop up this photo. Well, first, we're going to mount the photo using just a little scrap of paper that I had in my little paper stash here. Cute little background. And that's just to add a little bit of color because I'm using so many neutrals. So that's going to go here. And then I'm thinking, let me make sure. Oh yeah, I think I have enough room. So I went ahead and pre-printed my journaling, and it says, here's to a brand new year, possibilities, new adventures, challenges, and everything in between. I'm hopeful yet cautiously optimistic, wanting to remain healthy and safe. I'm learning to live with the unknown and accepting the fact that I can control very little in this life, but it is within my control to live a positive life. This is what I am bringing into 2022. And I just noticed a typo in my journaling, but we're just going to go with it because that's just what we do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that here. I think just going to lay this out because I'm trying to remember how I had it. And then I have some embellishments that are going to come here to the side, but I want to also make sure that I have room for my title. So these letters came from the Thickers Hello Friend Thickers pack. These were designed to go with one of Vicki Boutin's collections, and I can't remember which one it was. So I'm going to do hello, and then underneath 2022, and that's where the metal dies come in. And then I have some embellishments and such that I will layer and pop on and that type of thing. So we'll come back to that in a second. I got a lot of other little bits and bobs that I want to add to this. So let me get a few things going. I'm going to set these to the side so I don't lose everything. By the way, I got this little tray from the dollar spot at Target. Don't know if they still have these or not. Okay. So we're going to take some adhesive. I know some of you are saying in the chat that you use a mix of your new and some of your stash, right? Absolutely. Yeah. AJ says, I haven't used any scrap stash for a long time, going on 5 years, but I'm setting up a mini studio this spring, and I'm so excited to try to use it up. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. That's going to be fun, setting up your little mini studio. Okay. Trying to get that to the corner edge. There we go. And then, now, I want to add a little bit of texture to this, or interest, I should say. Now, initially I thought, ooh, why don't I just stitch on these triangles? But as I was preparing this project, I noticed that I did not add thread to my bobbin on my sewing machine, so I was going to use my sewing machine. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep things simple and use my stitch stamp because I'm lazy. Okay, so this is my background. I don't normally go for geometric design, but that's kind of what I was going for. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive here to the back of my photo. I'm going to mount that. And this is printed, I think, a little less than 4 by 6. And we're going to add some foam to this. I'll get my foam tape out. I got some brand new foam from scrapbook.com that That's how I get down. This is pretty wide foam, and I'm trying to remember, how wide is this foam? About 2 inches. 2 inches wide. Okay, so let me cut this. Madonna says she's on a spending freeze. And stash busting here, very excited. Yay. Found product from 2013 and still love it. You know, it's interesting that we can fall in love with our product all over again. You know, this month may be a month where you just kind of go through and say, you know, what do I have that I haven't used in forever? You know, there's so much great product that's come out over the years. All right, can I get another one on there? I sure can. I love this foam so much. Of course, you can use scrap paper, you can use thinner foam, whatever. I love the scrapbook.com foam. Okay, so I'm not going to adhere this just yet, but I do have a little bit of dimension on it, which is kind of what I'm going for here. Okay. Really like the triangular design. Yeah, me too. I don't normally do this type of design, but I love how it's just kind of wonky, and I was able to use up those really odd shapes of paper. Okay, so what I want to do now is a couple of things. I'm going to get my stamp set out. I'm going to grab an acrylic block. And I'm going to do some faux stitching using my stitch stamp. Here's my big old box of acrylic blocks. Let me know if you have multiple acrylic blocks. I do a ton of stamping. So I discovered early on that I need more than one. And you want to make sure you use the right size for the right stamp. So I'm using a stamp that's long. I'm going to grab my Bo Bunny stamp. This is called Bo Bunny Stitches Stamp. It may still be available. It might still be available. Okay. Now, let me load up my stamp. And I'm going to use one with just kind of a basic stitch. It kind of looks like a running stitch. And I'm just going to lay this right here and then pick it up using my acrylic block. I might have to redo that. Let me redo that. It's kind of hard for it to stand up. I'm using the lines on my block to try to line it up as best as I can. And the design on this particular stamp isn't necessarily straight. It's kind of a wonky stitch, but that's okay. Now what I want to do is I want to add stitching here to the edges of the triangle. I'm also going to need a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping a little bit off the page and I don't want ink to get onto my desk. I'm going to use some VersaFine, which is great when you're using stamp images that have fine details, and this one does. And I'm just going to stamp that, tap it. Actually, let me do this real quick. I'm going to get out my little paw here. This is from Simon Says Stamp. They'll kind of keep my ink pad into place. I love tools like this. That keeps that ink pad kind of steady while you're working with it. You can use this for a bunch of other things, but this is what I use it for. And then I'm just going to start here and stamp so it looks like I have stitched. And I'm using black. I could use any color really, but I'm using black. I'm going to try to connect this as even Stevens as I can. I'm not going for perfection here. I just want to finish out the stitch. And I have that scrap paper to catch that extra part of the stitching. I'm going to flip this and I'm going to do it down here. Hey Victoria, how are you? She says, I love that you're using older stuff. Yes, I'm going to definitely be using lots of older stuff this year, for sure. Danielle says, Ellie Studio has a great stitching stamp too. Yes, they absolutely do. And they even have a stamp set, I was just looking at this the other day, that has a bunch of border stamps that could also be good to add kind of that faux stitching look. All right, so I'm just gonna repeat this on this side. I love these types of stamps because they're super functional. And if you're somebody who's like, yo, I'm not a sewer, I'm not going to hand stitch, like you don't want to get down with that, then grab yourself one of these little stamp doodles here. And then you can, you know, fake it till you make it. Right? Whatever is easiest. I'm all for using the tools that make this experience easy for you. Right? Okay. Here we go. There's that. I'm going to take my time on this because I want to get it, I want it to look nice. All right. And sorry if my head's in the way. There we go. So we got the first of that stamped. I'm going to hold that up a little bit so you can see it. And that looks like I stitched right on that little wonky triangular area. All right, so let's do the other side. Just tap, tap, tap that on that ink pad. I'm using VersaFine, by the way, for those who didn't catch that. Perfect for detailed stamps. That's what it's designed for. Give it a second to dry. Sometimes VersaFine takes a little bit to dry. Not a whole lot, just a tiny bit. So just give it a second to dry. And just repeat it. Now, if I was really trying to be jazzy, I'd whip out the sewing machine, right? And I would just run this through my sewing machine, probably using a running stitch, something basic, maybe a zigzag, I don't know. But the stamp always works well for me, particularly if I'm in a hurry or I just don't feel like dealing with my sewing machine. You can hand stitch. So I have to be in the mood to stitch, hand stitch, because sometimes I'm just not. Okay, we got that. There we go. I actually have some dies coming for some card making projects I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and a couple of them involve hand stitching. There we go. Alrighty, we're done with that part. I'm going to put this away. And I love the way that came out. It added texture without having to really add any type of stitching to it. So it's not too bad. Sorry you got a close-up of my fro and my gray curls. There we go. Hey, Anna, how you doing? She says, first-time live viewer, long-time crafty stalker of Victoria. Well, I'm so glad that you're joining us. I'm so glad you're joining us. Jennifer says, gosh, I remember using stitching rub-ons back in the day. Yes, yes. Does anybody still use rub-ons? I haven't used a rub-on in quite a while. Let me know if you use rub-ons. Let me clean the stamp real quick. Let me know in the chat if you use rub-ons still. I have a bunch, and I think some of them probably have lost their rub-on-ness. Whatever that means, I don't know. Hey, Beatrice, what's going on? Jennifer Perry says, I have a paper collection that I've been saving since 2008 for the perfect photos. I'll be using it this year to scrap a couple of vacations. I think it qualifies as older stash. Yeah, it does. It sure does. 2008. I think a lot of us have been waiting for that perfect photo for those perfect supplies, right? Yes, lots of people use rub-ons. Do you still use them? Let me know. I gave up on rub-ons, too risky, says Melissa. They can be. They definitely can be. Let me know if you still use rub-ons. A lot of you still use rub-ons, yeah. It's one of those things that I don't think, goes out of style. Rub-ons, in my opinion. I don't think any of this stuff goes out of style. All right. So, we have the photo. I'm going to position the photo right here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just commit to that. All right. And let's just stick this right here. And I'm trying to kind of do it center. I don't have an eye for straight, but I also don't worry about stuff like that because life's too short. I'm also going to put my journaling block with my typo right on the page because, baby, we're living life and we don't care about those things. I can go back and edit that out. I'll add a little something to it to bring in to fix that typo. So I have this little tab. It says Note to Self. This comes from that Vicky Booten sticker, chipboard sticker sheet that I was showing you earlier. That's going to go right here. I just want to make sure I have enough space. That's going to go there. All right. The next thing I want to do is I want to address the title. So the number 2022, even though I have tons and tons of letter stickers, I just didn't have a letter sticker that, at least the font style that I wanted. So I'm going to make my own. And the way I'm going to do that is I want to make a foam letter sticker. So I'm going to use, or foam letter, whatever, foam numbers. So I'm going to use this foam sheet from Spellbinders. You can use any type of foam that you want to for this. It doesn't have to be this from Spellbinders. This is called Pop-Up Die Cutting Foam Sheets. You get 10 sheets of 8.5 by 11 from Spellbinders. From Die Cuts with a View, I'm using this metallic paper. It's 6 by 6. This is a perfect use of those 6 by 6 papers that you have around. You can use pattern paper. You can use holographic paper. Any other type of paper that you want to create this foam letter or foam number, whatever it may be. And then I'm using metal dies. And of course, I'm going to get my die cutting machine out here in just a second. These metal dies are from Momenta. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. This is a really great way to make your own letters, save yourself some cash, and create something that's unique for your project. So the way it's going to be is I'm going to die cut the number out of the metallic paper and then the number out of foam. Depending on how thick your foam is, you can actually use your metal dies with your foam, which is fantastic, particularly if you are die cutting intricate designs and you want to back them with some foam. If you get some thin foam, you're able to do that and run it through. I would do a test first, so don't try to run something super thick through your manual die cutting machine, okay? So you'll have both of these pieces, and then all you have to do is layer them on top, and then you have a foam underneath your letter, right? And it gives it a little bit, or number as it will, and it gives it a little bit of height and dimension. You can cut multiple of these if you want them to be taller, right? So I might do 2 behind it so that it pops up here on the page. If you just want to use the foam on its own, then you have yourself a foam number or letter, or even your metallic just by itself. But you can combine them and then add some dimension. Also, if you have trouble with those little bitty foam dots, this is a great solution to that because the foam will cover the entirety of your die cut, okay? So let me grab my die cutting machine real quick. I forgot to bring that over. Okay, here we go. Die cutting machine. I'm going to move this out the way for just a second, and let's die cut. So I already did the 2. Also, another reason why I'm doing this is that a lot of my letter sticker packs only have 2 number 2s and the size that I wanted. So I'm just going to make my own. Just going to make my own. So I'm going to grab my metal dies. I like putting my dies and my stamps in these Avery L pockets, and then I order these magnetic sheets from Amazon. I'm going to set this to the side here, and let's cut out another 2 number 2s. And I chose this metallic paper because the letters that I'm using from that Thickers pack are a silver metallic. And it's New Year's, and I thought, hey, why not? I'm just going to move this over. I have a metal or a magnetic base here, so it holds the die pretty well in place. If not, I would use some postage tape or some low-tack tape. And then I also need to die cut the number 0. So I'm just going to put this right back here on the magnetic sheet, and I try to do that whenever I'm working with my dies because I've lost dies, guys. I have lost them, and that does not make me happy. Homemade thickers. Mine is blown. Yes, homemade thickers, my friends. Look, we're using the stash. We're using the tools this year. So y'all get on board because that's what we're doing. We're doing our own thing. Now, I'm not saying that I won't ever buy a thicker again in my life because y'all know me. But sometimes you need to make your own. And sometimes you're on a budget. Sometimes you have a specific style that you want to adhere to, so you got to make your own stuff. That's why we're crafters. That's what we do. Okay, so I'm just going to pop these out. And I'm going to put them on so I don't lose them. My little tray. You could also, those of you who have electronic die cutting machines, you know, you can put those to good use too. I just bought a Cricut. By the way, I'm going to be doing a lot of content using my Cricut machine this year. I just bought one. Did I need another die cutting machine? No. But it was on sale at Michael's for like 149 bucks, so I bought one. I got the Cricut Explorer Air 2. I didn't need all the functions of the maker, and I can't wait to play with it. Okay, so I have these all cut with the metallic paper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out two or several of the numbers out of the foam, and I just want to give them a tiny bit of height, okay? Those of you who do not want to spend money on letter stickers, particularly thickers, because those are at least anywhere between $5 to $6 depending on the pack, you can make your own, and this is how you do it. Next step, I'm going to cut my foam sheet, and this is thin foam. This is like less than 1/8 of an inch, I believe, of foam, okay? And I think this works very well. Again, you can use craft foam from your craft and hobby store. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those same dies and I'm going to die cut my numbers out of this foam. Okay, I'm going to run it through my machine. Again, you want to make sure you're following the manufacturer's guidelines for your machine. I'm using a Revolution from We Are Memory Keepers. I'm going to use my pokey tool to get this off. It got stuck there. And it's working with this foam quite nicely. So now I have, uh-oh, it didn't cut out well. Let me try that again. It kind of got a little wonky there. Oh no, it just needs the edges off. There we go. So there's the 0. I'm going to cut it again because I'm going to double these up to give myself a little bit more height. Okay, I'm just going to stick them in my tray for right now so I don't lose them. Let's do another number 2. Each one is going to get a double mat of the foam. And I'm also, what I'm going to do is bring out some of this mint tape. This is from Scrapbook.com. There's other types of low tack tape on the market you can use. You can also use washi tape. I like the low tack tape because sometimes washi can rip up your stuff, depending on how tacky it is. So I'm just going to kind of tack this down. This is a metal base, but it's not holding it with this foam. Alrighty, let's run it through. I have been using this little machine at least, I don't know, several times a week, particularly over the holidays when I was making a lot of cards and stuff. It has gotten a workout. Alright, I'm just going to pull it back on itself. Pop out that die. Okay. What I like to do is get all my elements cut first, and then I assemble my project. So whether I'm working on a greeting card, a scrapbook page, whatever it is that I'm die cutting stuff for, I like to die cut all the elements first. All right, let's get another number 2. So how many 2s we've got? We've got this number 2. Let me get this one out. So that's 1, 2. We got the O. Bump, bump, bump. And then we have this one, not the O, this is a 0. So I need to do, I've got my metallic. Now some of you are probably like, I'm going to make all my own letters now. Like this is the Jam Victoria. Some of you have probably done this already before. So I need to make 3 more number 2s. Okay, so I'm done with the 0. I'm going to put that right back there, and then let's go ahead and use this up. I try to use as much of my material as I possibly can so we don't waste it. Again, I'm using foam sheets from Spellbinders. And I joined their kit clubs of the month. In fact, I'm expecting my first kit today. It should be delivered today, and I'll be doing some card making with that. So if you enjoy card making, stay tuned because I've got card making content that I'm adding to the channel this year. I'm really excited about it. I've been on YouTube for 8 years, believe it or not. And, sometimes you just have to, You gotta switch things up a little bit. Like, scrapbooking is my jam, and that's 80% of my content, but sometimes you gotta switch things up a bit, you know? And also an excuse to use my stuff. This piece I'm not throwing away, because what can you use with this? You can mount something on it. So I'm not gonna throw this away. This is gonna be my scrap foam that I use for something else. All right, let me do one other, let's see, we've got, do I need to do 2 more of my 2s? Boop, boop, boop. Yep, let's do 2 more. Just gonna cut what I need. I try to be mindful of waste as much as I possibly can as a paper crafter. I try to be. Okay, let me get my mint tape. I just stick my extra there. Okay. Here we go. Does this cutter fit most embossing folders? Yes, you can use most of your mainline embossing folders with the We Are Memory Keepers Revolution machine. Absolutely. Carrie says she's doing this for her December daily project. Awesome. Totally forgot that I had foam. Digging it out now. That's right. Look, guys, dig in your stash, find your foam. Find your foam. Yes. Multiple cardstock layers using your silhouette. Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah. You can do this with foam. You can do this with your extra cardstock. This is a great option if you have some of those little scrappy pieces of cardstock in your stash and you want to add some extra dimension. You would just die cut multiples of your particular element and just stack it, and that'll add some dimension. You want to make a foam letter, you can use the foam sheets to do that. Okay, so we got those all cut out. And I'm just going to assemble them. Well, it's stuck to my finger. Come on, little number. All right, I'm just going to pop this right back onto my magnetic sheet. I buy this magnetic sheet 8.5 by 11 from Amazon, and then I just cut them down to the size that I need. Okay, so we've got our elements all cut out. I'm going to save a couple of these pieces here, because this can be used for something, to mount something with. That's a little scrap piece we can use. Alrighty, we are good to go with that. Okay, and done. Next up, let's go ahead and assemble our letters. And what I'm gonna do, so I think that I'm going to use some of this Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. It's my favorite adhesive glue. And I'm going to see if that'll work with our foam. I don't want to make it like soggy or anything. So I'm just going to add some of that on there. Let's see if that'll work. It should work. You could also put this on some double-sided adhesive and cut it out, and then you'll have your sticker made already. So you can do that too. Cindy says, I like the instant gratification of card making. Absolutely. Absolutely. Carla says, this is really cool. Back to Michael's. Yes, it'll work for felt too. You just want to check your machine to make sure that your machine will cut through felt. Okay, so the liquid didn't work. So let's try roller adhesive because that might work a little bit better. So I'm just going to add a little bit of roller adhesive and then mount my little numbers, at least the foam to foam. Sometimes that liquid adhesive takes a little bit longer to really work with that foam, but I'm just going to use my roller adhesive here. And that's good. And then add a little bit more here. And then that's going to give me that dimension that I'm looking for. When you don't have something in your stash, figure out how you can make it out of what you currently have. And that's what I'm focusing on all 2022. Okay, so now I've got that dimension there. I'm good to go. All right, so now we're just going to assemble the other ones real quickly. I probably need to give it a little bit more time if I'm using liquid adhesive. Maybe I should have used tacky glue. Anyway, we're going to whirl with this for right now. Normally I don't have a problem using liquid with foam, but that just was not sticking. Maybe I didn't put enough on there. But for time's sake, I'm just going to use my little Tombow mono adhesive. Okay. And again, you could use double-sided tape sheets, double-sided adhesive, and you can also run that through with your, so what you would do is you would put it on the back of whatever substrate you're using, and then put your die, run it through, and then you have the double-sided adhesive on the back. So that probably would have been a little bit quicker in terms of adhering them, but that's okay. We just have these 4 numbers. Okay, so a little bit of adhesive here, making my own little thickers, using stuff out of my stash, using our tools, right? How many of you plan on using your tools? Score tape works well, as absolutely, yep. How many plan to use your tools more in 2022? When I say my one little word is make, it includes using my tools and showing more projects on this channel and for my Patreon community as well of me using my tools. One of the things I want to make sure that I do, however, is when I use a tool in a process video, I like to show myself using that tool, if at all possible. And I appreciate it when a maker does that, because sometimes we may not, and particularly if you're new to scrapbooking or you haven't used a tool, sometimes you need an idea of how that tool is used. So I'm going to make sure that I make a very, very strong effort that anytime that I use a tool in my videos, that you see how I'm actually using the tool. That includes my electronic die cutting machine as well. Okay, so let's, oh, come on, little glue. Kind of stick in there. Just going to put this down. This is the last number 2. I'm really liking the way these look. Now, I could have used any other foam color if I wanted to do like blue or pink or something. So then when you tilt the layout, you kind of get a look of that color on the side of the letters or the numbers, which is really cool. Sky's the limit. Anytime I'm making something, I always ask, what can I do if something's not working out? What can I do to make this work? All right? What creative ingenuity can I implore to make something work? Okay, so we have 2022. Solve the problem of not having a sticker. I probably do have something that probably could have worked, but I wasn't seeing anything that I wanted at the time. Using some foam to back it up to give it a little bit of height and dimension, and of course using that metallic paper to create my own foam sticker. Okay, so there is that. My goal this year includes using my tools more, absolutely. Yes, have a bunch of stamps and tools I want to use this year, of course. Cricut, but it doesn't like me. Oh no, you gotta become friends with your Cricut. Have you given your Cricut a name? My Cricut's name is Minty because it's mint green. So hers is sitting on a craft desk. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to this. Title's gonna go up here. I'm gonna put 2022 right here. I just love the look of that metallic. It's so nice. That's gonna go right here on top of the photo. Okay, so let's go ahead and commit to that. Just using my Tombow adhesive. Oh, and I got adhesive all over my nails. I hate it when I do that. I hate that. I don't like that feeling. Okay, so I'm going to add some adhesive here. Again, you could use double-sided adhesive when you're running your numbers through. That would help with this process. I'm just going to stick it here. Okay, the other one. Can't believe it's 2022. Good grief. Just seems to go by so fast. Let me try to get that straight. I don't have an eye for straight, so some of my stuff on my pages sometimes look wonky, and that's just, you know, how I roll. Putting that down. Okay. And then the 0. This is really good if you are someone who doesn't have a ton of font stickers, letter or number in your stash. You can make your own. We're crafters. That's what we do. We make things. Okay, I think this process took me the longest to do out of this whole layout. But had I been doing this just for personal, like just a personal project, well, this is a personal project, but if I wasn't intending on sharing it, then I would have die cut all the elements and then sat down and put the page together. But I want to show you how I made these little letters, these numbers. Okay, and now I'm going to come in with the hello. And I think what I want to do is kind of do a little arch with the hello. Trying to get that centered-ish, you know, we're not like making a big deal about it. Just do a tiny little arch there. Just very minor, you know, very minor. Nothing crazy. And because these are thicker chipboard, you got to add a little bit of something behind them because then they pop off. Jennifer says the name of her machine is called Butthead because it likes to argue with me. Oh, that's so funny. My hubby named my Cricut Joy Chirp. That's too funny because it's a little Cricut. Hey Debbie, what's going on? How are you? How are you? Let's see. Mickey says, or if you have 50 packs of letter stickers, but definitely need more, right? I think that I have surpassed 50 packs of letter stickers for sure over the years. I still have some letter stickers that I have in my stash that I've had when I discovered, long ago when I discovered thickers was a thing. They're pretty old, but they're still in my stash and I love them so much. I need to use them up. Need to use them up. The numbers turned out great. Thanks, Carla. I appreciate that. And of course, you could create these numbers with any substrate. If you have glitter paper, if you have cork, those of you who have your die cutting machines that can cut things like wood and fabric, or even your manual die cutting machines, I think you should be able to cut fabric with those. But certainly your Cricut, your Silhouette, your Brother, Scan and Cuts and all that. You can create fabric stickers, you know, put on your layout. All right, and there we have it. I didn't have the numbers I wanted, so I made my own. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and finish this baby out. I'm going to go ahead and put my journaling down here, including the typo. I'll fix that later. It's not a big deal. I just typed that up using Microsoft Word, and then I printed out the text box. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted my journaling, so I gave myself a little room there. And then let's use a little bit of my foam tape from scrapbook.com. I'm just going to cut a little sliver here because this foam tape is the same height. I want to make sure that this little piece here, I'm going to pop this up at the bottom with a little bit of foam, and it needs to be the same height as the photo since I use that scrapbook.com foam. Trim that up, stick that right on the roll. Usually if I have extras left, I just stick it right on top of the roll. Then I can just use it again. Okay, I'm going to add some adhesive, and this will be the little tag for my journaling. That's going to go right there. Alrighty, let's bring in our other little bits and bobs. I have this little die cut here. This is not, I want to call it a topiary, but it's not a topiary. I forget what it's called. Anyway, what is this called when you put the little glass thing over the plants or whatever? I can't remember what this is called. Kim says, never counted my thickers. Too embarrassed. You don't want to know some hard truths about yourself there, Kim? How is that glue? I've seen a lot of people use it recently. Are you talking about the Barely Art glue? It's fantastic. It's a fantastic glue. Very fantastic. Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this tag. I'm going to stick this right here. I'm going to just flank the side of my photo. Put that here. And in fact, let me grab a little bit of twine. I either like adding twine to my tag or I don't. There's never an in-between. I either do it or I don't. Sometimes it looks great, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. Little fibers there. Then I want to add this guy. I forgot to do that first. I want him here or over here. And I think I want him over here. And I just grabbed There's no rhyme or reason to these elements that I selected. I just grabbed it because I wanted to use them. That's really the long and short of it. I'm going to trim this little part off here. Since I already stuck my photo down, I would have tucked it underneath my photo, but it's kind of too late for that. And then this little tag here, it just says Spring Market. I just want, you know, this part here at the top. I'm going to layer that there. Starting with my anchor pieces. If you've been around for a while, then you know that I kind of have a process to my layering. I'm going to start with an anchor, and that's going to, and then build up from there. So these die cuts are my anchor. Come on. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in some other little pieces. So this says today's a new day. Then I have this little chipboard coffee cup because there can't be a layout without coffee. And then this little plant, which I think I'm going to put like, I thought I was going to put this here together. Maybe I will. And then add something else over here. So does this have, yep, it already has adhesive on it. So I'm just going to pop this down like so. And then these two over here, I'm going to layer these up, but I need to add a little bit of foam behind here. So that little extra piece I had left, just going to grab that Showtime little piece. Just going to put that there and layer that like so. Alrighty. Then let's see what else I have. I have that sticker sheet I said I was going to use earlier from Studio Calico from a long time ago. And I'm just going to put this right down here with the days of the week. Down at the bottom, just for interest, not so much function, but just for interest. And another little text design element there. I don't know how straight that is, but it's just going to have to work. And let's see, what else do I want to add to this? Oh yeah, so here is the wood veneer. And there's one that says 365 chances, because that's how I feel at the beginning of the year. You have 365 chances to have a fantastic, to do a lot of things, right? 365 chances to make change, 365 chances to explore, to learn, to grow. That's going to go there. Then I'm going to take the little clip, which I'm going to stick that right. Where did I want to put that? Did I want to put, I see now I forgot where I want to put it. I think I wanted to put it like right here. Okay. And then, let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Since I had wood veneer here and wood veneer here, let's pop one over here. And let's do something simple like this little star maybe. I think that'll work. And then I want a little something something there. So I'm going to reach for, let's see, I also have these labels. Is there any other label? I'm trying to think if there's any other label sticker I want to use for this. I pulled it out for an option, but we'll see. Okay, maybe not. So I'm going to pull back over this sticker sheet and see if there's anything else. Oh yes, I know what I wanted to use on this. I wanted to use a camera. So let me grab that little camera, and that's going to go right there. There's a little bit of space right here, which had the potential of being trap space, meaning that if I put something else on top and nothing inside, that would be trap space. So I'm just going to add a little bit of foam to this. And in fact, let me get this leftover foam here from that Spellbinders. Let me see if that'll pop that up enough. Nope, I need to double that. Just some little leftover scrap of foam. Uh-oh. Well, it's rolling on my roller here. Here we go. And then, let's see. Let's try that again. I like to try to use as much of these little scrap pieces as I can, right? Put that on there. There we go. That's going to go right here. Okay. Is there anything else? I really like these little stars, but it might get, is it going to get too crazy? I'm trying to think. Am I making it too crazy now at this point? I don't know. I keep adding stuff. Is it getting too crazy as I add and add more things? Is that just how I roll? And then maybe down here. I don't know. You just have to put it on there and see if it works. Oh, I wish I had another one of those smaller stars. No, I don't like how it works because I don't have another one of the team. Oh, yeah, I do. Let's see. Maybe this goes over here versus all the way down there. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. And I'm going to add some extra adhesive onto this off camera, but, you know, because they're thickers. And if you're familiar with Thicker's chipboard, sometimes the sticky is not permanent. It becomes unsticky over time. Okay, so I'll put that there. That just adds a little bit of fun, all right? Because it's a New Year's layout, so why not? I might reposition those. I'm not sure yet with that. I feel like there's something else I want to put on here too. That might be overkill. Nope, don't like it. I'll use that label for something else. Okay, so using items from my stash, I have a completed 12 by 12 layout, the first layout of 2022. Bah, 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 bah. The blowhorn. That's my impression of a blowhorn. Bah, 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 bah. Okay, so here we go. Used items from my stash. Everything that I used on here, items from my stash. So, started with some wonky pieces of pattern paper that I just cut down to anything that resembled a wonky triangle. Flanked those on opposite sides of the layout because I wanted the attention to be on the photo. I then created my own little number stickers using a die and some foam from Spellbinders, and added that with some letters from the little thicker sheet that I showed you guys. Then, of course, added in some clusters of elements, some large tags, some little bitty elements here as well. Finished that all off, of course, with some little stars. Had my journaling down here and a little chipboard piece that says note to self. My annual scrapbook layout is done. One for the books. So I'm just going to hold this up so you can get a closer look. Oh, and I did this in an hour, less than an hour, so it's even better. So I'm going to take a picture of this. You'll see stills of this on the Victoria Marie blog as well as on the Instagram. So make sure that you're following me. All those links are posted down in the description below. We also, can't forget, did some faux stitching using that Bow Bunny Stitches stamp. And I really, really love the way that came out. I'm so glad that I add that stitching to this. Make sure that if you have enjoyed what you watched today, that you subscribe, hit the like button, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Scrapbook Sister. She said, smash that like button, absolutely. Let YouTube know that you enjoy this content. There is more content that's going to be coming to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, both recorded and our lives. We do this thing pretty much every Wednesday at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So when you're subscribed, you'll get a notification when I go live. Make sure you follow me on all of my socials. Let me know in the chat, do you like this layout? Feel free to scrap lift it. If you're inspired by this, reach into your stash and see what materials that you have that are either like the materials I use or somewhat similar to it. And I think I've been doing this on the channel for at least a good 6 years, doing my annual layout or whatnot. So this is a really fun way to start out the year. I might make some little adjustments to this, but not a whole lot. But otherwise, I'm going to call this layout done. Would love for you, if you give making your own letters a try, or if this is a technique that you've been doing for a while, come share it with us. Join the Victoria Marie Scrap Boss Facebook community. The link is in the description. We would love to see what you're making. And before we go, if you are looking for some fun crops to get into, the Rock Your Stash Online virtual crop bundle is still available until January 8th. After that, you can purchase the crops individually at $9.99 USD, and it's all focused on using your stash. So if you are wanting to put a dent in your stash, come join us for these online crops. They're so much fun, and you don't have to go anywhere, and you don't have to pack up anything. You just stay at home and have fun for a weekend, and it's absolutely fabulous. If you're looking for ways to help you get your projects done this year, consider our Project Done online scrapbooking class. It's a year-long scrapbooking journey. The class has already started, but you can enroll at any time, and that class is $79.99. You get a lot of support, a lot of fantastic content, so make sure you come and join us for that. And as always, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous Wednesday. Welcome to 2022. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for all your energy today during this live, and we'll be back on next Wednesday, 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you mark your calendar, set the reminders when you see the live pop up here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. All right, guys, thanks so much. Love you all. Have a great day. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.